Ms. He Ting Ru asked about the Progressive Wage Credit Scheme, or PWCS. So this is a scheme that we have put in place. It's currently due to cease in 2026. We will review closer to the date whether to continue or to stop, bearing in mind the economic conditions at that time, because we are in a more uncertain global environment. The PWCS is not a broad-based subsidy for all companies. To get PWCS, the employer has to pay their low-wage workers a wage increase. Then they can qualify to get this co-funding from government. So the purpose is for the government to co-fund and to share some of the costs of helping our low-wage workers to earn a higher income, because we want employers to pay their low-wage workers a higher salary. We share with the employers part of this cost of paying the low-wage workers a higher salary. And this is an important part of our social compact, which I think Ms. He will agree. And I don't think Ms. He is suggesting that we should stop providing support for employers, especially our SMEs. I'm quite confident she's not saying that. And if I take a look at the other schemes that we have in place to improve productivity, which I also agree with Ms. He is an important priority. So this is not in lieu of those other schemes. In fact, this is something that we put in place specifically to help employers to be able to share some of the costs where they are paying their low-wage workers a higher salary. But on productivity, we have many other schemes that we will continue to work through our TACs, our industry associations, with our companies, as well as with our labor movement through the CTCs, to be able to help companies to improve productivity. Because I agree with Ms. He that the wage increases, to be sustainable, must go together with productivity improvements. And I just made an observation here that what Ms. He is saying seems to be a little bit different from what Associate Professor James Lim said during the budget debate. If I heard him correctly, he suggested that wage increases can happen with or without productivity improvements. But I think I do agree with Ms. He's point that the two over time need to move in tandem. It's more sustainable.
Thank you, sir. I have two clarifications from Minister Chi. I wish to clarify with the Minister that I did not make a general statement about productivity and wages in my cut, but when I mentioned productivity, that was specific to my seeking clarification from the Minister about whether there has been any analysis done about what effects the program has had on employers investing in productivity improvements beyond skills upgrading. There was no contradiction with my colleague's budget intervention in this, and he said that wages need to catch up with productivity gains that have already occurred. And on this point, can the Minister share if this analysis has been done? My second clarification is that a point I also made in my cut. I note the Minister had said that a decision will be made in due course and closer to the time about whether to extend the PWCS beyond 2026. As mentioned in my cut, can the Minister share with us what are the metrics used to determine whether or not to exit the program? My concern here is that the uncertainty about whether the scheme will be extended will make businesses currently on the scheme more cautious and less keen to take action to either invest in or increase wages now, and will delay any such decisions until they hear the next announcement. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think PM had already explained in his round-up speech about how productivity and wages over time do move in tandem. And I think that point PM has already explained very thoroughly. I won't repeat. But just wanted to go back to my response to Ms. He earlier, that we don't disagree that we need to look at how to improve productivity of firms. And that's why we do have many schemes in place to help our companies, whether it's an SME or larger companies, or as Mr. New Parek suggested, how do we encourage more SMEs to work closely with the larger companies, whether it's a large local enterprise or multinational enterprise. And these are all different ways in which we will continue to work with our tripartite partners to look at how we can improve productivity. But specifically on the progressive wage credit scheme, this is something that is aimed at helping employers when they increase the salaries of their lower-wage workers. So it is not a broad-based subsidy, as I explained earlier, but it is to help to co-share, for government to co-share some of the cost increases that employers would otherwise have to face when they are trying to help their lower-wage workers to earn a higher salary. So I hope this is in line with what Ms. He said. I said earlier in my main reply to her that I'm sure she's not suggesting that we shouldn't support SMEs, and I would like to maybe seek a clarification from Ms. He that she will support that objective, that we do want to support our employers, we do want to support our companies, especially our SMEs, when they are trying to do what is good for our low-wage workers, to strengthen our social compact. Mr. Chairman, the decision to extend or not to extend the PWCS, we will make that decision closer to the 2026 when this scheme is due to cease. I think it's difficult to say we will end it if the following boxes are checked, because we have to look at the situation at that time. There are a lot of uncertainties in our operating environment globally, and the challenges that our companies will face. I think it's something which we do need to consult with our tripartite partners before making that decision. But I also don't fully agree, Mr. Chairman, with Ms. He's framing that just because we are providing this support for our SMEs to help them to co-fund, not fully fund, but to co-fund some of the cost increases for low-wage workers earning a higher income, that they will then not want to improve productivity. I don't think that is the way the businesses would respond to the various schemes and incentives.
Thank you, sir. Just a quick clarification. It's not, in response to Minister Chi, it's not to say that I do not support businesses, and it's just that the concerns that I raised in my cut were systemic to the long-term effects for what was initially meant to be a temporary scheme. Thank you.
Minister Chi.
Mr. Chairman, I thank Ms. He for clarification. I think we are on the same page. I think the government also believes that because we are asking businesses to support increasing the wages of their low-wage workers and to hire low-wage workers, increase their pay. And this is an important part of our social compact, that it is correct for us to co-fund some of the cost increases. And the approach that we want to take, whether on this scheme or on many other schemes, is that when we want to do something that will be good for Singapore and Singaporeans, we want to do it together with our stakeholders. And this is also in line, I think, with the spirit of Forward Singapore. Thank you.